This is the last episode of my podcast, The Conscious Living. Experience the joy within you. I covered some important topics which we all will experience and go through in our lives. This last episode, I'll focus on peace and pleasantness. Why peace and pleasantness? Because everything we do in life, deep within us, we're seeking and craving for peace and pleasantness. Yet, we struggle to find it. Enlightenment is nothing but achieving continuous peace and pleasantness in life, regardless of the life challenges and circumstances. Our true self is nothing but the peace and pleasantness. This state of being is our true nature. We struggle to attain peace and pleasantness because of worry. Worry comes from the unknown. And in our world today, so much is indeed without guarantee. Our world is unpredictable and dangerous. Separations, loss, and death are inevitable. All worry comes from fear, disappointment, or anything we deem as not being the way we want it to be. We worry about health, happiness, money, position, power, status, acceptance, love, vulnerability, and insecurities. When worrying gets out of hand, it becomes anxiety and disturbs our peace. Persistent anxiety shows itself physically through things such as fatigue, headache, bodily pain, sleep disturbances, and panic attacks. At its worst, such prolonged stress can cause heart attacks, strokes, and even death. Imagine a lake with calm waters with no ripples. That is peace and pleasantness. Doesn't matter the depth of the lake. Once we throw a stone, the ripples come. That's what happens in our life. We get thrown at us many stones, and we continue to feel the ripples and its consequences. Some stones are thrown by others and some by ourselves. The bigger the stone, the bigger the ripple and the impact. Little things we do create ripple effects that can sometimes result in good things and sometimes make bad things happen to other people, even people we have never met. Suppose one morning you happen to see a friend who is grumpy and somewhat unhappy, and you give her a big smile and say hello. Since smiles are contagious, she gives you a smile right back and suddenly feels better. If so, she may smile at someone else. The ripple effect can continue to others, all from that one smile you gave. I would like to share a story of ripple effect. One early evening on a lonely country road, an old man was standing on a bridge high above a deep river. He had just dropped a pebble over the railing to see how long it would take to hit the water. As he watched the ripples fanning out, along came a pickup truck. It slowly came to a stop, but the motor was still running. The old man noticed the name painted on the door. It says, "Florist delivering beautiful flowers. Live life in full bloom." Walking up to the window, he saw a man behind the wheel with his head bowed low, breathing heavily. "Is anything wrong?" he asked. "Yes," the man said quietly. "I think I'm having a heart attack. I'm trying to get to the hospital." "Let me help you," said the old man. "You shouldn't be driving. The nearest hospital is good 30 minutes from here." "I know," mumbled the man. "I'm John. I was all alone at my nursery after my employees had left for the day." "Don't worry, John," said the old man. "I'll drive you there." He opened the door, took the wheel, and drove as fast as he could down the road. When they arrived at the emergency center to the hospital, the attendants rushed out with a wheelchair and quickly wheeled John to the emergency room. The old man waited throughout the night. He knew what it was like to be all alone, without family or friends in times of need. He had lived alone since his wife has died several years ago. The doctors were able to save John's life. They told the old man that John would have died if he had arrived just a few minutes later. A week passed. John was getting well. Several of his employees came to visit, as did the old man. While everyone was gathered around his bedside, John took the hand of the old man and said to his employees, "This dear and gentleman saved my life, though we were perfect strangers. And I want you to know he created a ripple effect in all our lives. By saving my life, he saved my business. By saving my business, he saved the jobs of 30 families. We all owe him so much." There was silence as all eyes turned towards the old man. He gave a gracious smile, but there were tears in his eyes. He gently leaned over the railing of the bed and whispered to John, "I must tell you something, John. You saved my life. Just about the time you drove up in your truck, I was about to jump off that bridge. Now I know how important every life on earth is to everyone. It is just as you said, John, the ripple effect. So when a stone is thrown into the water, the ripple begins. We watch the splash, we see the ripple, we see the effect. But what happens as the rock travels below the water? Does it hit anything on the way down? What happens when it hits the bottom? What happens when we can't see the rock anymore? What happens under the surface? Choices are like rocks hitting the water. Choices have a ripple effect. With these choices, there is not only a ripple effect on the surface, but also a sinking effect below the surface. As the choice settles on the bottom, it disrupts things blind to the naked eye. It disrupts deep down within our spirit and souls. Sometimes that disruption is good, sometimes that disruption has horrifying consequences. The best way to achieve peace and pleasantness is by surrender. I surrendered the pain I experienced growing up not seeing my parents. I surrendered the pain I caused in my relationships. I surrendered the control that I no longer had a grip on. I surrendered to my inner child, the pain the child gone through. I surrendered everything to the universe. I have felt the ripple effect for years of neglect towards my relationships. the ripple effect of taking that first drink, or addictions that had grown to a monster that controls everything I do. The ripple effect of COVID, losing my job and getting stuck in India for 3 months, has me wondering, how am I going to deal with my commitments and responsibilities? All I know is that we each have a choice to do something about the season that we are in. When we are faced with an obstacle in front of us, we have the ability to put a stake in the ground and make a decision and move forward. We all can create a new positive ripple effect to attain the peace we're seeking within. So what does the water's rippling effect teaches us? When water is disturbed, it accepts the disturbance. It doesn't complain, but fight against it or try to grasp onto what it was before the disturbing, unwanted, or unexpected event. Water doesn't have any expectations about life, what it should be, and what its existence or work will produce. Water just is. It has no attachments, has no illusions of its value, and demands nothing. Water relinquishes control simply because that's its nature, just like our true nature. And in doing these things or being this way, water overcomes the need to worry. When water ripples, then the lessons it teaches us are: life goes on despite what we do or don't do. What has occurred is already past, so let it go and accept the learning embedded in it. Let go of the worry and the anxiety. Focus on the now, the current flow. Choose to control only on that which is controllable, that is, ourselves, our minds, our hearts, and our responses of acceptance, flow, and settle. When we do this, we're being proactive rather than reactive, and can operate from a place of peace rather than from stress. I wish you all peace and pleasantness in your life. Please take care of yourself and the inner child within you. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to share 12 episodes of my podcast, Conscious Living. In this journey, I learned a lot about myself and personally experienced the joy within me. I wish you all to seek and experience the joy hiding within you. A big thank you for listening and being part of my journey.